Bureaucratic discretion is reshaping global environmental policy. Bureaucrats wield far more influence over environmental outcomes than is commonly recognized. In their 2025 study, Critical Geographies of Discretion in the Environmental Bureaucracy, scholars Mark Tadaki and Jill Lindsay Harrison argue that behind every regulation, budget, and compliance strategy lies a web of discretionary decisions that determine how environmental policy plays out on the ground. Drawing on case studies from China, Brazil, New Zealand, and the United States, the authors reveal how bureaucratic discretion can either advance or obstruct sustainability and justice, depending on who holds it and how it's used. What is bureaucratic discretion? Discretion refers to the judgment bureaucrats must exercise when policies and regulations leave room for interpretation. Whether it's choosing which environmental indicators to prioritize, deciding who to consult during policy development, or how vigorously to enforce a rule, these decisions are not neutral. They're shaped by professional norms, political pressures, personal values, and institutional culture. Importantly, discretion is not a bureaucratic loophole. It's an essential feature of governance, especially in complex environmental systems where policies often fail to anticipate local realities. Case studies, Discretion in Action, China, Metrics Without Meaning. In Yifei Li's ethnographic work, Chinese municipal bureaucrats manipulated environmental indicators to project a facade of sustainability. For example, they excluded recycling from performance metrics because it undermined incineration goals already used to evaluate departmental success. In another case, local officials allowed real estate developers to influence how green building scores were calculated, prioritizing favorable statistics over genuine environmental impact. Key takeaway: in authoritarian systems, bureaucratic discretion can reinforce reputational management over substantive change, yet still shapes how sustainability is defined and measured. New Zealand, elevating Maori water values. Mark Tadaki's fieldwork within New Zealand's Ministry for the Environment reveals a contrasting use of discretion, advancing Indigenous rights and environmental protection. Bureaucrats embedded Te Mana o Te Wai, the prestige of water, into national water policy, aligning with Maori feedback gathered from over 100 regional hui meetings. Even without a formal political mandate to affirm Maori water rights, public servants used their institutional position to elevate them. The current policy framework provides ambiguous and inadequate direction, a ministry report concluded, prompting stronger environmental language than had been used in 20 years. Key takeaway: even under conservative governments, bureaucrats can use discretion to institutionalize progressive values, especially when backed by cultural legitimacy and community consultation. United States, internal resistance and reform. Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) staffers have long used discretion to navigate and, at times, resist political mandates. Rosemary O'Leary's research documents how EPA employees worked against the wishes of their superiors to protect wetlands, limit vehicle damage to forests, or expose administrative corruption. Meanwhile, Jill Harrison's work reveals how discretion cuts both ways. While some EPA staffers championed environmental justice, EJ, reforms by pushing legal reinterpretations and changing hiring practices, others undermined these efforts, mocking EJ as a fad, withholding support, or even filing civil rights complaints against racial equity trainings. Key takeaway: bureaucratic discretion can be both a vehicle for reform and a barrier to justice, depending on the cultural dynamics within the agency. Brazil, sustaining poverty alleviation amid austerity. Under Brazil's left-leaning and later technocratic governments, environmental bureaucrats used discretion to design and protect green grants, a program that supported families in forested areas with monthly stipends. When the federal budget was frozen under austerity, bureaucrats rerouted the program through the UN Development Program to preserve funding. They also negotiated interministerial deals, secured training funds through embassies, and documented extractive livelihoods to justify expanded technical assistance. Key takeaway: bureaucratic discretion can enable quiet innovation and safeguard social environmental programs in politically hostile climates. Discretion as a site of political struggle. What unites these cases is the recognition that bureaucratic discretion is not merely administrative, it's political. Bureaucrats are influenced by professional norms, e.g., legal interpretation, public neutrality, departmental culture, e.g., prioritizing certain stakeholders, personal ethics, e.g., commitment to equity or environmental protection, strategic framing, e.g., aligning progressive goals with partisan language. The implications are profound. Even in environments of regulatory capture or political opposition, bureaucrats can shape the direction of environmental policy through the subtle choices they make. Why this matters for environmental governance. For environmental and sustainability professionals, this research underscores the importance of engaging with public agencies not just at the policy level, but within the culture and inner workings of the bureaucracy. Reform is not only top-down, it is also built from within, often invisibly, through discretionary decisions made at every level. Understanding bureaucratic discretion reveals why some reforms stall despite legislative support, how environmental values can be embedded into technical decisions, where alliances between civil society and public servants can be forged. As Tadaki and Harrison argue, bureaucratic discretion isn't a flaw in the system, it's a feature. Recognizing and working with this reality is essential for anyone trying to make environmental governance more just, effective, and sustainable. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites from E+E Leader, where the business of sustainability meets real-world impact. Thanks for being a loyal listener. To inquire about brand partnership opportunities, reach out to a member of the E+E Leader team.